My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. Alrighty, this is documentation regarding the very thing that the demons are monitoring. So that is, just so that you understand how demonic it is. 9 Jerry Xavier Henry 407 is stalking on behalf of the Ontario Police Department, just like they were last night, they being the people. And as I prepare, it's very clear flying over the top of my head. I just want to be clear, the entity is going to, Mike LORENZ is going to prison for sharing in what is a criminal conspiracy to cover up trafficking literally human beings, murder, and also the entity that has been gang stalking me and doing so. Remember, gang stalking is demonic activity. Mike Lorenz is demon possessed, which is under the law going to be Mike Lorenz is mentally ill. And that is proven through the psychotic means of stalking me as a department using helicopters. And as the entities engage in this pattern of conduct, the people of the state are maintaining criminal surveillance. They're stalking. And that's exactly what I'm documenting by license plates as I'm going through the neighborhood and the demon possessed in the city of Ontario right now, not at the Fontana Metrolink train station, where at the same time Allied Universal is engaging in making what are unintelligent, albeit veiled threats regarding what they will not be engaged in, but they are speaking prophetically regarding what's going to happen to them, and it is pressing charges. The entities engage in this as demons that are monitoring me. That is before I pull out my phone as I'm thinking about the fact that I'm going to document this. The demons that were already stalking me in helicopter then fly over the top of my head. That is relevant to the demons that are surrounding stalking in the neighborhoods, because that's what is relevant to their address. Everybody that lives on what is Lemon Avenue, everybody that lives on what is E Street right here, they're all stalking. They're stalking in the path while the fake sun is over me. And it's simultaneously over me as I'm documenting in the city of Fontana. And that's just an example. The entities engage in this while the Ontario Police Department are stalking last night. And every license plate that I took pictures of, I'm documenting that same entity that is stalking me as I am subject to the surveillance by businesses such as Starbucks and Chevron and Arco, the Unicare Community Health Center, Omnitrans that's on the roads and the highways, the Ontario Veterinary Hospital. They're all stalking together. This is that surveillance system, and they are demons engaging in real-time criminal activity while they are monitoring spirits. And this is what you need to know is underway. This is the beast system, and this is the entity that is being federally prosecuted for all that the entity has committed, which is going beyond gang stalking. Gang stalking is that which is occurring after the entity has committed criminal activity that they thought that they were going to cover up by gang stalking me. Okay, I was targeted before and after this entity committed murder and tried to frame me for it. Before and after they claimed that I was dead and collected insurance funds on it. Before and after this agency, including the Ontario Police, that are stalking, all right, as a pattern of conduct. By the way, this is what you see Fontana engage in. Before they engage in what is defaming my character, you are not maintaining any lawful authority under the law as Owens and Craig Hazelwood are. When they're stalking like this, those two demons are going to prison. When you're engaging in what is criminal summoning, as you understand what Hernandez is doing at 815 Hope Boulevard, stalking under the fake sun, he's going to federal prison. Those are stalkers, as I've been stating is the case. And this is the department that's providing that evidence against those demons who are engaged in the pattern of conduct. 6 Mary Jerry, 656 is stalking as well. All they're doing is turning on police lights and then stalking and monitoring together when during the midst of a traffic stop. That's called criminal summoning, and they're going to prison. This is the entity that's conspiring murder, and these are murderers very much so. They've engaged in sex trafficking, all manner of criminal activity that this entity has failed to conceal by gang stalking me. In fact, it's exposing everything, and Mike Lorenz is going to federal prison. Like I said in Fontana, it is Michael Dorsey in Upland, it is Marcelo Blanco, and before that demon, Darren Goodman, who was still gang stalking in San Bernardino, California. He is being federally prosecuted, and it's the same with Mike Lorenz in Ontario. And that is not all, but you're seeing how that pattern of conduct from city to city is clearly underway. This is P.O.C. at what is 8:19 a.m. This is the pattern of conduct in Ontario where the entity flies directly over the top of my head, and they are giving evidence regarding what I'm documenting in real time. When I say Jay Hernandez is going to federal prison, when I say the entity that is gang stalking me under the fake sun while they are in these police vehicles and in helicopters, that's exactly where they're going, because they're stalking. And it's a stalking system. Stalking is a crime, and stalking is that which is committed in furtherance of murder while they're wearing police uniforms. That's the malice behind that, and this is the beast system, which is no conspiracy theory. You have what are a lot of people that are going to prison, a lot of them, and many of them are part of this corrupt government. It includes Paul Leon. The entity that's engaged in this pattern of conduct are those that are wearing uniforms that they are going to be removed from, and they will be prosecuted as terrorists, not as police officers. They don't have any bureaucratic tape that's going to surround them, and like I said, no one has any standing to assist and represent and advocate on behalf of terrorists, which you are when you are engaging in this P.O.C. It is currently 8:20 a.m. That's the entity engaged in that, and all the pictures of the license plates, I just want to be clear, they're sharing in that pattern of conduct. That's the significance of my evidence. If I document you, this is the entity that's stalking on behalf of that agency that just flew over the top of my head, and that's exactly how terrorists are being exposed. That's the significance of you seeing it and identifying them, which you can refer to regarding identifying terrorists. And this is also how they're going to be treated under the law as I maintain the evidence of this ongoing pattern of conduct that I'm subject to. This is P.O.C. It's 8:20 a.m. where the entity right here in this same parking lot. Remember, and it's on a Sunday afternoon. The fake sun is over me. Southwest Airlines is gang stalking. Demons are stalked with impossible light moving across the walls just like they are now, where I am under this fake sun, and Southwest Airlines is flying in this direction. And this fake sun's over me at the same location, while the people of the state are engaging in surveillance parked at the edges of the sidewalk with their hazard lights on, with babies in their car, and they're gang stalking and furtherance of murder. This is the same location. Moreover, when I'm in an entirely different city, a different location, and the same environment is over me. This is showing you that beast system where the demon-possessed are engaging in surveillance. And this is a failure to engage in gang stalking me, as though that was going to cover up their crimes, and all of it is coming out. And they're going to federal prison, and they will be committed. Okay, the minions of the Ontario Police, like any other police department, they're subject to criminal convictions for terrorism, and they're going to be subject to mental examinations, meaning they're going to be committed. This is P.O.C. It's currently 8:21 a.m. Alrighty, this is stalking. First of all, literally, the vehicle driving this direction and the third party walking in this direction. This is an iteration of pacing. Okay, they're doing it simultaneously. They're doing it in engineered light. It's creating light activity. They're doing it under the fake sun. They're also doing it in Ontario, California. They're also doing it in Ontario, California at the infamous Ovid Family Community Library. Do you understand what this means? All right, this is, again, the body of evidence which is core to prosecuting a people. They are legally referred to as the people of the state that are engaging in a pattern of conduct which is unmistakable. Not only is the body of evidence showing that this fake sun is still here, for example, on March 3rd, 2026, before daylight savings time, where the entity has the fake sun and C. Gerber is here anticipating my arrival, and specifically approaches me without incident, ejecting me from and threatening to commit kidnapping upon my right to enter into this City of Ontario venue, where the entity is engaging in what is criminal surveillance, which is directly rebutting everything that's in that written document regarding an admission to discrimination on the surface by the City of Ontario. And that discrimination is based on criminal surveillance, federal group stalking and monitoring, which is in furtherance of murder. This is an entity that is gang stalking under that fake sun, okay? The entity is engaging in this. This is daylight savings time, so this would be 7:35, where on March 3rd, C. Gerber is here 3 hours later under the fake sun at 10 a.m. where Southwest Airlines is gang stalking on that video, where the entity has the fake sun here at 10:17 a.m. by the senior center, same location, and C. Gerber's on video. And this is where the fake sun remained while the demons of the City of Ontario are pacing, just like they are now, the people of the state. And the fake sun remains here, as I've documented, until sunset, where people like Amazon Prime are gang stalking by delivering a package. That's a stalker with merely an object in their hands, okay, representing a company engaging in surveillance. And this fake sun is reflecting off of a window, which, by the way, means the fake sun is in the same exact location. The entity is engaging in this while the fake sun is present over the downtown Ontario luxury apartments, over the Wells Fargo, while I'm shining on my face inside of this venue 8-9 hours from now. What I'm capturing is showing you the pattern of conduct among cities. The city of Fontana at Spring Street and Sierra at 8:35 a.m. This is the location of a fake sun that's remaining over me while I'm at the Ovid Family Community Library. And they are going to federal prison based on obstruction of justice. And that's what's happening on March 3rd, 2026, while a population is stalking, which is clearly underway. And that is the hardcore evidence regarding license 8BMH415, who is engaging in what is public corruption, conspicuous surveillance, acting in furtherance of a criminal conspiracy to commit murder, with the demons that you just saw on video stalking me by helicopter, while this fake sun remains over me at the same time in a whole other city, which is a supernatural impossibility, which I have captured in evidence to prosecute the demon possessed, exposing the beast system and prosecuting the public entity that is acting with the people of the state who have sought to commit murder and defame my character, to engage in what is repeatedly kidnapping me, to ultimately steal my money, my wealth, my property, my identity. And it is relevant to venues such as the City of Ontario Library engaging in what is making a pattern of documented malicious assertions while they're stalking in plain view. This is how the fake sun is here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're doing the exact same thing, which is criminal monitoring under a fake sun in the engineer light while they are maintaining presence. That is stalking. Stalking conducive to what is surveillance. And the entity is maintaining this specific environment. The specific environment is distinct from the natural environment. It is what I have termed with regard to identifying the pattern of conduct, and upon the existence proving the pattern of conduct, it is creating under law where you're going to prosecute that public entity the irrebuttable presumption of public corruption. And that is where you are not a police officer, you are a terrorist. And you will be prosecuted under federal law accordingly. You will not be getting a final paycheck. Your family will not be receiving any benefits. You're going to be prosecuted like Osama bin Laden and every other enemy. This is what an entity is doing in Fontana, California under a fake sun. This is the federal prosecution. P.O.C. acting in furtherance of murder. They like to sling with light activity as well, 9VOY173, and that's exactly what they're doing while they're engaged in. That's the pacing you just saw at the beginning of the video. The demon getting out of the van, walking in this direction, the van driving in this, they just did the exact same thing. These are demons under a fake sun, and the city of Fontana and the city of Ontario are sharing in that criminal conspiracy. All right, this is the pattern of conduct. This is the existence of the beast system. They're not getting up in the morning and having a meeting. This is demonic activity. These are monitoring spirits. These are monitoring spirits that congregate with regard to the state's religion, which is Catholicism. That's the state's church. That's why they're monitoring spirits inside of that venue. That's why they're outside engaging in the work of the devil. They serve Satan and they call themselves Catholics, okay? This is the entity that's engaging in what is wicked, and it's also illegal. That's the identification of the state's church. The entities engage in this pattern of conduct under what is a clear identification of that. C. Gerber's going to federal prison. Jay Montez gang stalking on B Street. He's going to federal prison. Hernandez gang stalking at the Superior Grocer. He's going to federal prison. The entity that's engaging in kidnapping, such as Hazelwood and Owens. Owens gang stalking me in the middle of the night while the Ontario police are stalking by helicopter, and he's stalking on this street on the opposite side of downtown Ontario luxury apartments at night while the people of the state are molesting, which is what this is. It's not the sun, it's not sunlight. You are engaged in unlawful touching while surveillance is underway. Owens is going to prison. This agency that's stalking in helicopter, as you see them doing that from city to city, they're engaging in surveillance and furtherance of murder, and it is the unabated program of psychological torture that they share with the people of the state who are also going to prison. DN17T12, a paper plate. This is the entity that's engaging in what is lawlessness. These are criminals, and their desperation serves no purpose because they're not getting my money. The entity is subject to what is establishing the bases of martial law. They're not successful in defaming the character of me nor any other American citizen ever again. These are the actual mentally ill population that engage in this criminal system while they are engaging in what is taking the life of, taking the reputation so that they can take the life of any American citizen that they are targeting. All right, this is P.O.C. in Ontario, California, and this is spelling out federal prison. You have Alexander, you have Alex, you have Mickey, Myra, you have the entity that's gang stalking. As I'm going through the names of the employees, they're sitting on the record. The entity's keeping the fake from Sunrise and Sunset, and then they're keeping it over the Fontana Lewis Library, where the Fontana Police Department are flying in circles over me at that venue, where the entity is then stalking me through the city and following me down Sierra Avenue at the Fontana Metrolink train station. They're going to federal prison. Okay? They're going to federal prison, and they will not be getting out. And they will be prosecuted and identified as a matter of public record as domestic terrorists. Terrorists that are enemies of this country, not different and no less threatening to American citizens as are any foreign terrorists. Enemies of the United States. This is exposing what are homegrown enemies that are here amongst us, stalking you and sexually violating you, preying upon you in your face. And they're doing it while they're being documented. This is the work of Satan, and it's also criminal conduct. This is P.O.C. This is the ongoing psychopathic pacing behavior under the fake sun. This is the same demon, 9VOY173. That's the psychopath, by the way, and it's a violent sex offender. They're vagina monitors, as is this one. Okay, this is the demons. These are demons that are engaged in that, and it's not personal. The entity is doing this as a population. They come out with their strollers, they come out with their dogs, they're engaging. The Ovid Family Community Library just holds books in their hands. Amazon Prime, U.S.P.S, they just hold packages. They're all stalking. It's all surveillance, and these are the mentally ill, in fact, and they're going to be committed, they're going to be deported, they're going to be federally prosecuted and appropriately labeled as terrorists. This is P.O.C. There's no sun in Fontana outside of the Lewis Library and also over the Ovid Family Community Library in two cities over the same person at the same time for the duration of the day. P.O.C. It's currently 8:43 a.m.